Hello, everybody. My name is V the Victim. Welcome to my Season 4, Episode 5 review for the Gielinor games. I'm excited for this week because I do have my own footage that I can include in the video now instead of having no footage from it getting nuked previously. So, should be able to include some clips and show you a little bit more behind the scenes rather than just, the static image and me talking over it. Unfortunately, despite having footage, I won't be able to make a review for next week's episode because I am going on vacation. I'm leaving the day before GG comes out, and I'm getting back the week after, pretty much right before the next GG comes out. Anyway, let's get into it. The challenge this week was really cool. It's something unique that we haven't seen before, and although you get some experience on GG that helps you in every challenge, it wasn't something that someone could use their time in season 3 or 2 or whatever to get an advantage on the new players for. So I thought it was a great challenge and it was a ton of fun. And immediately out of the gate in this one, I definitely just assumed that D'hide would be really good. I have limitations for this challenge. A lot of people thought, oh, I'll make rune armor. Unfortunately, and this is my fault, I've brought it up with Soup and he's always like, he's like, tough shit, this is on you. And he's right, but my account is not maxed. And at the time, I don't even think I had 85. I think I had 85 mining flat, and I definitely did not have the smithing to make almost any rune armor. So rune was not even an option for me. But that said, I don't think I would have gone for it. I think I really like the idea of D'hide because of it being not that hard to get and also not that contested because there are plenty of black dragons to kill around the game. And in addition to that, it has no negative bonuses. So to me, I thought right off the rip, D'hide seems pretty good. I can kill the dragons with a mage short bow, which I can make really quickly and easily. And I got really lucky. Stefan included it in the clip, or sorry, Soup. I call him Stefan, because we're close like that. But Soup included in the episode the fact that I got the magic log like instantly, which was insanely lucky because I think I also had I think I had 90 woodcutting or something. I not 99. And so yeah, I was super stoked to get that. Unfortunately, I had high enough fletching to make a magic short bow. So I took that down into the black dragons. I think I had myth arrows so I could kill them pretty quick. I want to say I started with bronze or something and they were so slow that I replaced them. I go down to the dragons. I have these myth arrows and I'm killing them pretty quick. It didn't take too long. I'll actually throw up the footage so it'll be running in the background. I can see how long it took. I can see how long it took, although I'm probably not going to go back and edit it to say how long because that seems like a big pain. But I got my full black D'hide and I had a lot of time left. And so you may remember from the episode, I came in wearing pretty much just an MSB and black D'hide. So you might wonder, where did all the rest of the time go? Well, I wasted on trying to get things like a defense ammy because I'm an idiot. Now, you may just accept that statement at face value because you know I'm dumb. But the reason I say that specifically right now is I misread the rules. So, again, in the episode, you may have seen there's a point where Soup had a little card that said, achievement diary items are allowed, but do not count towards your final score. Well, in my rush to plan all the stuff for the challenge that I was going to do, and with all the ideas going through my head, I processed or noticed the achievement diary items were allowed part, and I did not see that you could not use them at the end. So I showed up wearing, I think, 3 achievement diary items. I think I had the Relica sea boots, the Kandarin headgear, and the Ardoin cape. I had a pretty good set, and I would have been significantly higher up the leaderboard, but I am dumb, so I didn't. And yeah, I spent a lot of my time trying to just get like a defense ammy to cap it off because I had all the other slots filled. And unfortunately, did not notice the actual rules of the challenge. So this one was really annoying. I just was super disappointed in myself. I enjoyed the challenge a lot. I thought it was awesome. But as far as my performance, I don't think I would have been in the top 3, so I don't think it would have mattered. But I definitely would have been outside of the bottom 4 or whatever I was. I was really glad I wasn't dead last. And that's what I was worried about when I showed up and Stefan was like, you can't wear that. My heart just sank. and I was thinking that I may be straight in the elimination because I can't read. I'd also written down to get a rune arrow for my ammo slot for the extra bonus. Unfortunately, I didn't think of javelins or bolts at the time, but I forgot to do that because I was too busy making a defense ammy that I couldn't enchant. So, yeah. But fortunately, my lack of reading ability kept me out of the banning. And that was really good because this week was a double elimination. So MMORPG straight into the banning. The Impling catching strategy, the man loves his hunter. I gotta give it to him. But the Impling catching strategy just did not give him enough gear bonuses because, Implings don't commonly drop chest pieces, helmets. So he would have had to get really lucky with coins and just go buy something. And then, as we saw, there are things like Agility Pyramid or Thieving, where you do a lot better for your time getting more coins than you would catching Implings, unless you get extremely lucky. And since this was an Iron Man style challenge and you couldn't sell things to the GE, the best drops have to be alch value drops if you're going to go for coins. And the Implings just don't have enough of those for the most part, unless you get really lucky with a dragon or something. That said, we also then see a tribunal of Bodhi, Roidy, and the solo mission. This one was crazy because I figured Bodhi would want to put me in again. He put me in episode 1. Roidy, I could see no reason that he wouldn't want to put me in. Solo mission, he wants to win. He might put me in. And fortunately for me, Settled finally did not make a tribunal. For the first time this season, which is unreal. The guy's playing out of his mind. And what do? They immediately jump on him. And solo mission, to his, well, I was going to say to his credit, I guess, he's finally not snaking somebody, which we saw him do in the last episode again. But he decides to basically just burn his vote because he knew it wasn't going to do anything. And Roidy and Bodhi decide to go for Settled. It was nice. I actually saw in the episode where Bodhi said, "I'll put anyone in but Victim," which is really cool. It's just Bodhi being Bodhi, man. I assume he didn't say why, or at least it wasn't in the clip. I assume it was because he put me in before and I came back and he didn't want to do it again, which is exactly what I wanted winning the first banning. Oh, it's perfect, man. I could have picked the hardest opponent possible, made a huge statement, and probably also have gone home. Because especially at the beginning of the season, I barely logged on to RuneScape recently, and I was not good enough to beat somebody. Like if I'd picked Bodhi for that DK's challenge, he probably would have showed up in 15k of gear and smoked me. So I think this is just an extra endorsement for my strategy. I think it's going great to have won that early banning, shown that I'm not going to go home, and told people that. I think that you get a little bit of respect for it. You get a little bit of people worried you'll come back for them. And you get people like Bodhi who just think, well, fair's fair. I already put him in. But I will say, if that's how he's thinking about it, I'm a little confused because he's also then gone on to say, I'll put Settled in as much as I possibly can until one of us goes home. Which, again, is something really cool that I respect, but doesn't really go in line with the whole, well, I wouldn't put Victim in again because I already have. So maybe that's not his reasoning. I don't know. Bodhi's a bit of an enigma. He's just out there being Bodhi. In addition to MMORPG and Settled now, because he was put in by the tribunal, gets to pick the third opponent in the banning, and he goes with West Ham. I think this is a really good choice and probably a pretty easy choice. We had a PvP banning very recently, and it's super, super rare that there's going to be a PvP banning, even within a few weeks of the previous one, because again, PvP is just relatively a pretty unpopular part of the game. And among the people who are invited, usually only a few are really PvP focused. So not always true, but in general, it's a pretty safe bet to assume there won't be PvP like a week or two apart. Even 3 weeks is, I don't know if that's even happened. It may have, you guys can correct me. But Settle picks West Ham, and I think that's a really good choice because, again, he's playing really well. He's clearly even prepared some for GG, which I don't think many people actually do. You might think it'd be worth it considering how much is on the line, but, everybody's just playing the game, doing their thing. Most of them are full-time creators. Other people like me have a full-time desk job and aren't playing RuneScape all the time. So unless you're really focused and locked in, it's tough to be that good at GG. I think Settle really, really wants to win. I wouldn't be surprised if he did some preparing And the guy's a beast. He's playing great. So he picks West Ham because PvP is the only thing he thinks he might lose at. And yeah, that makes perfect sense. When I look at the cast of GG, I think the same exact thing. On my day, I could probably, if nothing else, fluke out a win against one of them in something. But if it's me versus West Ham in a Tribird fight, I'm losing 98 times out of 100 probably, or something like that. So yeah, I'm with Settled. I think this was a really smart choice. I think it was really unlikely it was going to be a PvP banning. And we see in the banning, Settled actually gets a banning that he's participated in before, which is just hugely advantageous for the guy. Not only is he playing out of his mind, and now he's got one that he's familiar with on top of it. It was just perfect. The stars aligned for him. So although he wasn't in the tribunal, although he faces a banning, and a banning is always dangerous, it was like best case scenario. And he gets to pick the third person in the banning. So double elimination, terrifying. Banning, terrifying, but Settled stayed cool. He applied all the stuff he already knew from a banning he was experienced with, and he crushed it. He did as well as could have possibly been expected. The only letters he missed, off the top of my head, I want to say were Q and X, and there are no monsters in the game that could reasonably be accessed within 10 minutes starting with either of those, unless you feed an Abyssal Leech from DT2 an item that starts with one of those letters and then kill it, which Soup actually has said he would have counted, and I think that's pretty cool. But within 10 minutes, getting that item and then feeding it to the leech and then killing it and then coming up with that in time while you're thinking about the other 24 letters of the alphabet that you have to do, yeah, nah, just forget about it. That's unreal. So yeah, I Settled, crushed it. I thought it was cool. I actually had some conversations going with Hootie in particular in the background during the planning for this challenge about what would be the smartest and everything. Hootie brought up the Mauritania NPCs, and then I brought up the Miscellanea Market NPCs. And yeah, the whole idea of the challenge was just go as few places as possible to kill as many NPCs as possible and cover everything. And Settled just did an awesome job. Guy killed it. He's coming back. He doesn't choose Sabotage, which I thought was kind of interesting. I figured after a couple bold plays 2 weeks in a row, maybe he'll go for the Sabotage. As a billionaire Iron Man who doesn't really play mains at all, it was pretty strange to see him pick 200 mil. But I think if you're him, like you said in the episode, actually, you hope that that's enough and you're going to be out of the bannings. And he's riding the wave of great performances he's been having. So it just seems like there's a pretty good chance overall that he'll continue coming back. He's been in the tribunal 4 out of 5 weeks. So if he keeps that average up, by episode 10, there'll only be 2 weeks where he could have been put in the banning. And heck, who knows, maybe 2 people in the tribunal will like him that week and won't want to put him in. So yeah, the 200 mil, little questionable for me in his position. I think maybe you go with the Sabotage. But like I keep saying, we've seen the Sabotage be pretty weak at this stage of the game. So 200 mil, don't piss anyone off. Try to keep a relatively low profile. It seems he's kind of working on that strategy too. Although it is tough for him having won so many challenges. But we'll see what's coming next week for him, for me. And unfortunately, like I mentioned, I won't be around next week to make a review. But like I said last time, there is something big coming up that I'm really looking forward to. And in addition to that, I think I'm going to try to do a stream today. It's been a hot minute. I've got some free time. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you see this video right away and you want to drop in on the stream, I'll probably be live pretty shortly after this goes live. I won't see you next week, but I hope you enjoy the episode. And outside of GG stuff, you will see, or at least hear, something from me before too long. Thanks for watching.